Welcome to this preview video for assignment 2 in text processing and analysis. I'll just give you some ideas and tips on how to go about this, or pointers if you don't know exactly how to approach this. Hopefully this video will help you. Again, you don't have to follow what I do. If you have an idea how you want to do this and it's not what I say here, that's totally fine. You can go ahead. As long as you follow the instructions. The instructions say, write a Python program that uses regular expressions and the list data structure to both identify and count all of the nominalizations in a short text. Nominalizations are the formation of nouns from other types of words like verbs, adjectives. Okay, so that's what that means. Use the website below or other resources to familiarize yourself with nominalizations. As input to your program, you can simply paste in a short text, 300 or so words, into your PY file, into your script. Write a short report in which you give the initial precision and recall accuracy measurements of your program. Then modify your program, probably just the regular expressions themselves, and give the final precision and recall measurements of your program in a report, in like a Microsoft Word document. Turn into the CMS a zipped file, that is with an extension zip, ZIP, with your PY file, as well as your report in a docx file, in a Microsoft Word document file. You need to create two files. One is a PY file that has your Python code that does the work, and then a docx Microsoft Word document file in which you report your precision and recall your initial one. And then you go back into your script and see if you can modify the regular expression to make it better, to make the precision and recall better. And then you give your final precision and recall scores. If they're the same, then that's fine. Okay, so let's just take a quick look at this website about nominalizations. Right, so like they say, nominalization is the process of producing a noun from another part of speech, like a verb, adjective, adverb, right? Okay, so gerunds are a noun form of ing words. So for example, hiking can be arduous. That's actually a noun, even though it has the ing on it. It's a noun because you can replace it with a pronoun like it. It can be arduous. What? Hiking can be arduous. Okay. So hiking is a noun in this case. Writing is not for sissies, etc. So the ing at the end of a word is one way that other words, verbs in this case, can become nouns. Okay, so you need to look for words that end in ing. But once again, not all words that end in ing will be nominalizations, will be nouns. If I say I am hiking right now, or I'm going to go hiking tomorrow, that's actually a verb, right? All right, agent nouns. So many nouns that end in or are derived from verbs. They denote the actor or agent of the verb from which they come. So actor with or at the end, right, is someone who acts. Inventor is someone who invents. Sculptor, you guessed it, somebody who sculpts. So words that end in or can also be nominalizations because they could be nouns that are derived from the verbs that they come from, they're related to. Okay, so you need to look for words that end in or and see how many of those are normalizations. You should read through this stuff. All right, the suffix ee suffix means a morpheme on the right side of a word, at the end of a word. A morpheme is a meaningful part of a word in linguistic terminology. So the suffix ee is used in legal terminology to denote the passive party in a legal transaction. So the legatee is the person who will receive a legacy. A payee is someone who will be paid, or a ministry family or home teachee. She was my home teachee back when home teaching was a thing, right? Two E's means somebody who kind of receives something. And they talk about the fact that this comes from Anglo-Norman past participles, from French, right? Modern French still has that. Employee, evacuee, parolee. Okay. So you look for words that end in EE and see how many of those are normalizations. Also, another way to form nouns, that is to nominalize verbs, is to put TION at the end. So from inform, you could say information. From investigate, you get investigation. From collide, you get collision, right? And so it could be SION as well as TION. Here we have T, but here we have S. Also meant, agreement, from agree, refusal. So AL is another possible nominalization, another possible morpheme or part of a word that creates a noun from another part of speech, in this case, verb. Acceptance, conference, confer, failure. Okay. So go ahead and take some time to look through this website or other ones. And like I say in the instructions, you can simply just paste into your PY file some short text about 300 words. You don't have to try and do file input. That's for a later assignment. Okay. So the way I would probably approach this, here's like a little sample skeleton of a script that you might use to get started. It's good to have some type of doc string, which means between 3 double quotes to say what this script is doing, kind of a summary of it. You're going to need the RE module because we're going to need the re.findAll function. So you usually import that at the top. You can just paste in your text here. This is obviously not 300 words, but you paste in your 300 words here. And then you start searching. You're going to use re.findAll, right? And some regex on that text, whatever I called it, txt up here on line 9. So I'm going to use txt here. Don't worry about capitalization of the regex that I give you here. Right, and so you're going to have to review, if you need to, you will likely need to review lesson 3.1 about regular expressions or regexes. Right, so I'm using regexes here in this call to re.findAll. re.findAll returns a list, like I mentioned in that lesson. And so you search for a regex and it returns a list, and then you say, okay, there are this many ing forms that I found. And so the len, if you call len on list, it'll just it'll tell you how many items there are. So it'll tell you how, in this case, it'll tell you how many regexes it found, how many matches it found of this regex. That is how many words end in ing. And then in order to concatenate it with a string, you need to use this str function to coerce or change, convert this integer, the result of len on a string is an integer, into a string so you can concatenate it with the other strings around it. So you do that. You go through and you count up the number of normalizations. Once again, when you use re.findAll, it returns a list. Each of these is holding a list with each element of that list is a match. And then you have more here. You search for more. And then you get the total number of normalizations, right, by just adding up the length of all of those lists. That is an integer. And then you can print out at the very end how many you found total. Again, you need to coerce to string with this str function because this is an integer. You can't concatenate an integer to a string without first coercing it to string. Okay, so if I just run this script real quick, let's see what happens. So there are 3, it says there are 3 ing normalizations. I need a space I can see right now. I need a little space on the right side of this right here. There are 3 ing normalizations. Now, do you see why? Okay, so I love walking in the morning. So it found walking, it found morning, and it found walking again. Walking is awesome. So only one of the 3 of these words is actually a normalization. This one right here. Walking is awesome because you can replace that with the pronoun like it. It is awesome. What is awesome? Walking is awesome. And you know that is a noun because you can replace it with it. Okay. Morning is not, I don't think it comes from like mourn. If it does, it's way back in the history of English, and we can't really see the obvious connection between that. So I would only call this one of 3 a normalization. So my precision is pretty low. It's at a third, right? 33%, because only 1 out of 3 of the forms that it found was correct. So you may need to review lesson 3.2 about accuracy, how to measure accuracy. There are 2 different ways that I show you in that lesson. One is with precision and one is with recall. So the precision is pretty low at 33%, because only 1 of the 3 words that it found actually is a normalization. The recall is at 100%, because there was 1 it should have found here, at least with this one example of ing. And it found that 1 example. If you want, you could probably print these out. It might be a good idea just to print these out so you can see what it found actually. If I do print ing, rerun the script, I can look at what it found. Like say it found walking, morning, and walking. You can say, okay, yeah, this second walking, the third one it found is correct. So the recall is 100% for that 1 normalization for the ing morpheme, because it should have gotten it and it did. So the recall is 100%, even though the precision is really low. So you do that, right? You do some more. Here's how you might do SION or TION. I don't know if you remember character classes in regex. Let me make this bigger. All right, the square brackets within a regex means 1 of these characters in here. So either S and then ION word boundary, or T and then ION word boundary, right? So anyway, this is kind of a skeleton, just kind of a quick, this is how I probably approach this assignment. So you can give that a shot if you need some direction. If you have other ways you want to do this to get the end result, which is to identify which normalizations are present and how many of each, and then the total number, then you can do it whatever way you want. But if you need some help, this way would get the job done. Okay, so as with other assignments, the rubric is the same. It's the same weekly assignment rubric. So once again, 6 points out of 10 come from task completion, just getting the task done. And in this case, with assignment 2, you do have a little bit of interpretation to do. So you need to measure the precision of recall, and then you need to try to improve it by somehow probably just changing your regex, right? And I assume it's just simply a regex change here to try and improve your precision of recall somehow. Okay. And so, yeah, the interpretation is looking at your initial precision of recall numbers and then making some change, somehow trying to improve your search regexes, and then getting your final precision of recall numbers. And in this case, you don't have to submit any additional files, so this last part of that criterion doesn't apply. And then 2 points come from concision or conciseness of code, making it concise and don't repeat yourself when you don't need to, when you could somehow not repeat yourself. And then 2 of 10 come from comments for the human readers. It should be commented pretty well. Not every last line, but it should be commented so that you can see, the human can see what's happening where. And it's good to have a little doc string at the beginning so you know what the script does overall. Okay, so that is a little preview on how I would approach assignment 2. Best of luck as always. I'm super happy to help out. Please contact me or come into my office hours, or go into the office hours of the TA. All right, see you next time and best of luck.